All right. What a flipping game. I mean, what a back and forth game. And we actually are not done yet, but we're gonna react live with 6 seconds left to Ole Miss and Miami. The back and forth of the fourth quarter. Miami's dominated the game, but Trinidad just having the ball is always scary. Oh my gosh. It was almost complete in the end zone. But Miami, the Hurricanes, are the first team to go to the national championship. Like, what an unbelievable it just felt like an up and down roller coaster of a game. Like, I think Miami came out and did exactly what they wanted to do. Like, Ole Miss won the toss, immediately takes the football, exactly what they should do. They get 2, 3 and outs right away. Their defense looks really, really good, very aggressive. Unbelievable job by kind of stymieing them. And then the game just got unbelievable because Miami ends up running 88 plays to like 59 for Ole Miss. The time of possession was 41-19. Like, how does Ole Miss, how do they get in this football game? How do they have the lead late in this football game? I don't know, but there's one thing. And if I could go back and do it again, Trinidad freaking Chambliss. Like, the dude absolutely made plays, kept his team around. And, we have all these questions. Like, I had all these questions written down about Miami and Ole Miss and things that have to happen. Can Beck operate in his strengths? Can he make plays down the field? Carson Beck made a few plays down the field. Carson Beck did a good job buying time. Carson Beck they go down. He gets the ball with 7 minutes left. They're down 2. He goes right down the field, 4 plays, explosive plays, big plays, gets the ball to Tony. They take the lead. Trinidad does the same exact thing. Trinidad goes nuclear again, gets hot, goes down the field with 5 minutes left and scores, and you're like, that's probably too much time. And Carson Beck gets it with 3 minutes left. And here's the thing. Carson Beck got the ball without a running game, the clock ticking down. He had to make plays, and he made plays. He operated in his strength. They faked the screen. He worked all the way back across the progression, went to the left. They operated the clock really well. Great job by Cristobal and company. Their timeouts, they used 1 on defense that I would have saved, 2 on defense, 1 in the first half as well. But took almost all of the clock, and you needed to, because if you give Trinidad the ball late in that game with enough clock, he probably would have beat you. And if you told me Miami was going to do this offensively, like possess the ball for 41 minutes to 19 with Ole Miss, I thought they would have blown them out and they would have killed them. Bain and Mesidor came into this game on a tear, right? Like we've talked about how good they've been, and 7.5 sacks, over 20 pressures. They were a non-factor in this game. They were a non-factor. There was late hits by Miami. Miami reverted back to what Miami did during the regular season. They averaged about 8 penalties a game. They had 4 total in the playoffs. They weren't beating themselves. Miami only stopped themselves from scoring consistently. Like, they could run the ball at will down. They could run the ball down Ole Miss's throat. They got a little bit cute at times. They had targeting. They had injuries to corners, to defensive tackles, to Mesidor. Like, everything was going on and was going nuts. But, man, we talked about a lot of guys, and we talked about how this had to come to fruition. And basically, Miami did it as a team. Miami's defense played really, really well to start the game and all the way really into the fourth quarter, where they kind of started giving up some big plays. But unbelievable job by Miami doing what it takes, making plays, getting it done. Brent, get in here. Brent Rollins always joins us from On 3 from PFF. Man, that was nuts. I'm like, Miami's got them right where they want them. Like, 15-play drive in the first half, 17-play drive, possessing the football, doing everything you wanted to do. But how about, man, Ole Miss did it all year. Like, they've done this all year, man. They just hang around, and they take punches, and they counterpunch and come back. And I know one thing. Nobody should want Trinidad Chambliss to come back. Like nobody playing against Ole Miss should want
Playing
that
against
dude.
them, yes.
You
If you're an
don't
Ole
want
Miss
to
fan,
see
you
that
definitely
again.
want him to come back.
Well, you want Charlie Weiss Jr. too, but that's besides the point. But I mean, that was just like they ran out of time. But that was back and forth. But I know you were taking your notes and breaking down the game.
Well, first off, just enjoying it. Like we got a great football game, and actually, you think back to you in 2021 when you did the whole picking of Georgia getting beat and then beating Bama later. When we talked about this game on Monday, I patting myself on the back a little bit. Sometimes you actually get one right. I was like, hey, this is going to be in the teens early, and then as these teams get tired in the fourth, we're going to get a scoring barrage. And if you actually go back and look at my score pick, Miami 37, Ole Miss 21. But the difference in this was a carbon copy almost of the Georgia game in a way, where it's like, okay, control was had, but then Trinidad did his thing. And in the end, Carson Beck's experience, he was completely calm. His ability to move.
He had that one ball that he looked like he almost threw an interception on a throwaway. You're like, all right, dude, that was terrible. Yes, Perkins almost got it, but Perkins can't play the ball in the air.
But still, even in it started the season with him against Notre Dame, where we talked about him coming into the season, how he was basically unplayable and a replacement level QB under pressure a season ago.
Yeah.
And then against Notre Dame, he made consistent plays under pressure and some big time throws in that game. And he did it in this game. And there was a couple scrambles that he gets where he gets 7 or 8 yards to set up a fourth down.
Set up a fourth and short and to set up a third and short. I thought he did a really good job understanding, if it's not there, boom, I'm going to take off. I'm going to make this manageable. Miami dropped 4 interceptions. Miami's defensive, their defensive, the way that they started the football game, I absolutely loved it. They gave nothing free away. They were bringing pressures and they were sitting on everything. Ole Miss did not take one shot down the field until the first play of the second half, because I'm sitting there with my son and I'm like, they're sitting on everything.
Yep.
They're sitting on all of these routes, and I'm assuming you think you're going to get home a little faster. And Trinidad, I think, did too. They thought, I think they're about to he's going to get home too. Ole Miss held up great on the offensive line, but the secondary, man, at one time when that ball's tipped a couple times and there's 3 guys there and you can't catch it. But the 4 drop picks, you lost the turnover battle. But you committed 9 penalties and some really stupid ones, roughing the passer. You jumped off sides. The only thing that stopped Miami drives in the first half was penalties. It was literally
themselves.
It was themselves. It was consistent in the second half too. It was a intentional grounding that backed him up. It was a false start that backed him up. That kind of got him.
Have you ever seen that, by the way? The intentional grounding because of the flea flicker thing. It's not a outside the pocket deal. The boys and I were like, really? Actually,
I've never heard that call.
Never seen that.
I've never heard that call in all my years of watching. But here's what's cool, man. I always do this. I don't share it all the time, but can Ole Miss, the questions I had coming in the game, can Ole Miss maintain balance? They couldn't. They had one big run. Lacey's injury was a big deal too, man. Because that dude's such a home run threat at any time. They could not maintain balance. Could Trinidad get the ball out quick and negate the rush? Yes, he did.
He did.
He got the ball out quick, saw the defense, negated the rush. I said, can he go nuclear again in stretches? Yep. He can go nuclear. He had the big scramble. Something about that dude late in games. And then I said, can Ole Miss's defense hold up against Miami in a full game? And that was the answer. Last year's Ole Miss team, their defense, their secondary was so much better and so much more equipped, and their pass rush was more consistent and better. They were really good against the run this year, but you could see late in the game, man, couldn't get pressure on Beck, couldn't harass him, couldn't make life hard. He had the scramble, but he had time. He consistently had time. And I know Pete Golding likes to drop 8. I get it. He loves to do that and play coverage. But it was they ran out of gas defensively, and they didn't have enough answers when even though their offense kept giving them opportunities to kind of stay in the football game over and over again.
But what a phenomenal game to watch, because especially, and what elevates it and what elevates any of these games, and I think we're going to see the same. I think we're actually going to see the same thing, a very similar thing tomorrow night. When you have great quarterbacks playing and quarterbacks that can win and make plays on them and make plays with their arm, it just elevates the game. And that's what we saw tonight, was those two guys spin it. Now, I will say, early in the game, Beck, like was it the first throw on the second play or something like that? He missed a touchdown to Tony on just a little quick go route on the
he was
in slot.
I
looked badly.
It looked like miscommunication a little bit. But did you get Carson Beck's throwing numbers, down the field? Because one of the things that bothers me about watching, listen, if you want to be honest, like the run game was really good. The screen game was the majority of the big plays. Like Tony scores with 7 minutes left. Like that was Tony being Tony. They did a good job of that. And then they did some stuff off of the screen game that made some big plays. Tony's third down play in the first half on their first scoring drive, their first touchdown drive, 3rd and 7. They check it to him down in the flats. Like, again, credit to Carson Beck for getting the ball out to your guy, and then he breaks 3 tackles and he gets a first down. He shouldn't.
Yes.
You shouldn't do that. But also when you get the ball out, you give your guy a chance. But I was texting you, and I'm like, listen, this down the field passing for Carson Beck, it takes there's too much air on it, and there's not enough zing on it. So I guess they both go hand in hand. Like it needs to get there faster than it does. Consistently misses.
Considering his time at Georgia, he put too much zing on it. And a lot of that, I think, is the elbow. I
say just had surgery.
I think that's the elbow thing.
12 months ago.
Eventually come back. But so throws over 10 yards, and this was helped a little bit towards the end, and I might be a little bit off, but throws over 10 yards. He was 6 of 16 for 123 yards in the touchdown. And then the pick gets counted as that because the target was down the field that way.
Well, and the touchdown was a busted coverage that I could have thrown for a touchdown. Like it was.
You got to see it and make the throw, but he made it.
It was a layup. It was an absolute layup. The safety bites on the tight end in the slot who never gets the ball thrown to him, which was stupid. Like that was a really, really dumb play by Ole Miss. But he did have time and he scrambled and found him.
The other thing you were looking at, and some of this was helped a little bit by the numbers there at the last drive, but second down, he was 10 of 15 for 143 yards.
Man, they kept.
Do you think Miami fans were not happy with a lot of the throwing that was going on?
Well, here's what I'll say. I'm watching the game, and I'm watching when they got in the pistol and they got downhill, bro. It was a problem for Ole Miss. It was 3 yards. It was 5 yards. It was 7 yards. I thought Ole Miss got aggressive and started to come up a little bit. They hit them on the perimeter as well with the run game, which was really, really good. They had some change-ups. If I'm a Miami fan, I'm watching that going, okay, I get it. I normally want a lot of variation in my offense, but when they're running flea flickers and running this stuff, I'm like, dude, I can run the ball every play. Like I can literally, because every time Fletcher did get stopped, which he's hard to stop, the offensive line pushed and shoved him 17 yards. Like now the penalties got him out of there several times, but I did think, listen, Shannon Dawson's really good. He's a great OC. I love the way he dials up plays. When I was dominating that much, and especially the time of possession was that high, I'm going for the kidneys continually. Like I would have been, I would have been very conservative. Now listen, if I'm going to throw the ball, I love what he did in the screen game. Like throw those screens, make it easy, not turnovers worthy. I love those plays, but I would have preferred them to kind of get down and dirty and do what you do. Like that's what you do. So I
was tracking that too. Now I will say the last drive, I didn't see if they did. I don't think they did anything from the pistol in the last couple of drives. But before those last couple of drives, it was 14 carries for 75 yards in the pistol. It was basically 4 pop. There was only I think one or two that were less than 4 pop. Now what was interesting is, and we talked about how in the pregame or preview, their style against Ole Miss's style, and I think you saw Ole Miss try to sort of 2-gap a lot of their defensive linemen and play head up when Miami was in the pistol. They were just getting moved. And lanes were created. But when they actually went to some offset back and ran some inside zone, they got some chunk plays out of that too.
Yeah.
Because Ole Miss ran themselves out of holes in their stunt game, and Miami blocked it so well.
I'm about to say that's the danged if you do, danged if you don't. Ole Miss is very much like they want to make plays and get you behind the stick, so they'll take gambles in the run game. Now I say gambles, and this is what makes Indiana absolutely stupid. I don't know how they do their twists and stunts, but they don't give up big plays. They never miss hardly. But most people get pushed out of a gap, and then all of a sudden there's a hole, and linebacker can't fit it because it's so big. They don't do that. But, I had questions on the other side. Can the blitz get home while holding up in the back end for Miami? And they did a good job of holding up, like in playing the short stuff. I thought Miami was studied up on their offense really well early in the game. Like, I think it's almost like they knew where the ball was going most times. Like, how about the refs, man? I thought they let him play. Like, they definitely let him play and then started making calls. Later in the game, they started making calls. But I said this, Brent, as one of my things that I think is important to go look back on. Can they keep not committing penalties? They've committed 4 penalties in 2 games for 30 yards. In the regular season, they averaged 8 penalties per game. And that's where Miami looked more like the undisciplined team that they look like in the regular season. And when they do that,
they weren't recently.
No, and when they do that, they're very beatable. Like when they do that and they lose the turnover battle, obviously it becomes like in the next round, you can't do that. Oregon or Indiana. Like if you do that, you're going to be in deep trouble.
Speaking of the next round, that's a home championship game.
Crazy. I wouldn't like that if I'm Cristobal. I wouldn't like that. I would not like all my distractions being with me. I would want to get away from the team.
I would think they're probably used to it.
Yeah, in Miami, you're probably used to it in Miami.
Probably used to that life. That's for sure.
But Indiana had to go to the Rose Bowl. And now, obviously, they come to Atlanta and then back. And Oregon had to go. Obviously, Oregon had to come across the country, and they're going to have to come across the country multiple times if they win. Golly, Oregon went to Florida, right? And then
they played Miami, yeah,
and then and then go to Atlanta, and then coming back to Miami if they win. Again, we're saying if they win, but oh man, it was.
It's a heck of a football game. It's amazing to think, though, that they won that game, and outside of talking about Mesidor going out of the game and coming back into the game, were their names mentioned? Bain and Mesidor hardly at all.
No,
and
they had one pressure, I think.
I mean, and a lot of it is it's their scheme. It's Ole Miss's scheme, and that's their offense, and the way they run offense allows that to be mitigated because you don't necessarily have individually great offensive linemen that get drafted, things like that. So, but it was good enough, good again, and they made the play.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, and this is gonna blow everyone's mind that I'm about to say this. If Ole Miss won the game, is Lucas Canero the MVP? Because that dude is a freaking weapon. I don't talk about kickers. I'm not a fan. I can't stand that the football game that we play that's grimy, down and dirty, comes down to a dude that kicks a field goal. I don't like that. I don't love that. If I'm if I'm signing a kicker in the transfer portal, I'm committing all the money to that guy. Like that dude, I'm just telling you, highest paid kicker in the NFL is going to be in college next year. Lucas Canero. Like that guy is going to, and Fowler kind of intimated a little bit, didn't he? Like if you don't know Chris, that was a big intimation that he's probably going to find a destination in the boot. Probably going to be in Louisiana, which I thought was
both of them
was
missed
interesting.
One. But what's interesting about him missing one, it's almost
when
like,
you cross midfield, that dude's a weapon. When you cross the 50, the dude's in play. Like this dude's insane.
Well, one thing you said, would he be the MVP? No, that would be Trinidad. So don't forget that. But
he should have been in the mix. I'm just telling you.
After you make 58 and you drill it down the middle, and probably would have been good from about 65 plus, it felt like he was maybe bored. And it's like, okay, can I just hit the upright and doink one in? Well, it doinked and came out. And then the next one doinks and goes in.
Went in.
Like you couldn't do that two times if you tried. So
if that kick, if you needed a field goal at the end to win, and he had a 58-yarder, that dude might have been MVP.
Yeah,
that dude might have been MVP of a bowl game. Like, and you go back to the Georgia game, dude was a weapon. Like, was an absolute weapon. It was nuts. Like, I don't like to give kickers credit in any way, shape, or form, but that was absolutely incredible.
Gentlemen, I think we might know is Chris in the chat there. Chris Hollygood J3H says, so the real MVP tonight, Carson Beck. I think he's right.
Was it Carson Beck or was it Malachi Toney?
How
about Malachi's Toney that wasn't a catch?
That was insane.
That was stupid. Are you kidding me? Insane. To jump up one-handed, and they call him Baby Jesus. I'm not being sacrilegious, but Baby Jesus jumps up one-handed, catches that thing, and almost gets a foot down. Like, I don't that dude, and then he obviously catches the screen and goes. If Beck didn't run it in, like you probably had if Malachi ran that one in or something like that. But that was incredible.
They need to stop putting him in the Wildcat and give it to him on third down. That's for sure.
Well, they did it. They did it on the first drive, and they got stopped.
Yeah, don't do that anymore.
In the Malachi, I think they call it Malachi Cat. I would give it to him. I would give it to him more than that. Hey, let's be honest too. Going ahead, they've got one of their better secondary players that's now going to be out for the first half. That's a big deal. They got some big injuries to manage too. I mean, there's just Mesidor came back, thank goodness. But Moat, you got a bunch. Like there was a bunch.
All these teams, two things. One, first off on Toney. I think he's got like 125 targets right now this year, and he has 0 drops. That's insane. But two, all these teams, like Oregon, Davison's out for Oregon tomorrow night, the running back. And they've had some leaving the portal. So their running back room is crazy thin heading into tomorrow night. Indiana's D-line is depleted a little bit with Daly, Wyatt gone, and that sort of stuff. So it's almost survival. And now, at least for Miami's sake, and the other, and whoever wins tomorrow night, it's not till the following Monday. You got 9-10 days that's a few extra days to get the body healthy. So
what was interesting about Toney and how they used him? I've never seen it, and they did it more than once, so it was not an accident. The screen access that they're doing with him and dropping him back 3 or 4 steps to get him depth, just to get him away from people. It's really creative. It's very smart by Shannon Dawson and company. Like they're basically flaring him backwards. Usually you go lateral when you go on those screens that they throw it really quickly. But they're dropping him back and saying, if I get this guy, and the nickel for Ole Miss came up there, had no shot, like absolutely no shot, because they had created, so much space. Now Carson missed him on the one because of that. I think Carson threw it in front of him a little bit, but finding ways to Malachi Toney people has been a very big strength of Miami all year long, and they did it again.
All right, so Tyler, why do I have a W helmets? Because we got some helmets earlier in the year, and this was one of them. So, and plus I'm from West Virginia. So, but also the fact that you're doing that with Toney is as the second, not necessarily the guy that's coming up to tackle him, but the guys that are covering on the deep part of the field, they have to stay deep because the sucker can throw the ball. Yep. Like it has to be
and
in
you're
the back
throwing
of their
it,
mind.
Yeah, you're throwing it backwards. And you're throwing it backwards. So you're actually throwing it backwards where it's legal. So
you have to be aware of that. So it's like, all right, let's create more space. He gets by one guy. The other guys, if they stay, they have to stay back because of the threat of him throwing it. Like it's very intelligent. I agree.
So let's wrap this up, man. Okay, Craig Green.
Thank you for the super chat.
Craig English. Is that what it is?
Appreciate it, Craig. We'll go with Craig.
Miami deployed Beck as a game manager and not a game changer. He's obviously more effective that way. The MVP is Carson Beck. He threw for 268, ran a touchdown in, threw for one. I agree. They managed him very, very well, but they got the ball with 3 minutes left and needed a touchdown, and he managed themselves right into the end zone with a rushing touchdown.
Yep.
So I don't disagree that they have to manage him and you don't let it rip the whole game, but that's also why they've developed their system the way they have and they use their components. But he managed the heck out of the game and deserves a shoot ton of credit for what the heck he just did because his team's going to the semifinal. The defensive MVP is Jacoby Thomas. He had 5 solo tackles. So
hurt his
Miami,
shoulder there towards the end, tackling Daquan Wright, the tight end.
I mean,
I will say I thought you'd gripe about targeting a little bit because those are just insanely bad.
Stupid. If you don't call the first one, you can't call the second one to me.
No. Football's losing its way if any of those are targeting to me.
Well, targeting sucks. I'm not going to do that with the refs and stuff because the refs. No, I'm not going to do that. The refs are terrible.
It's such an easy fix. There's levels to it. Make it a personal foul. Don't eject players. I hate the rules. I hate all the things associated with it.
Yeah. So Miami fans,
if they go full crown the head launch into somebody's head,
toss
fine.
them.
Yes, but that doesn't happen anymore. It just doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen very often. That's for sure. Miami
Canes are going to the ship, though.
Canes are going to the ship. Carson Beck.
ACC versus Big Ten.
No matter what.
No SEC.
No SEC, which makes a lot of people happy. And a big thanks to Edmunds for supporting See-Ball, Get Ball tonight. Selling your car can be tough. I'm looking for a used car right now, by the way. Watching your team go compete and go to a natty is really, really fun. Sometimes shopping for a car is not. Edmunds has all the tools to make buying and selling a car so flippin' easy. You go online, use the appraisal tool. You can see how much your car is worth and even get instant offers for your car. It's free, and it takes as little as 2 minutes. So free and fast, doing something you don't want to do, yes, please. So your car appraisal, your offer can be used as leverage, as dealership, so you can trade in your car or sell it to your car dealer. If you're selling your car, check its value today to make sure that you score what you deserve, like Carson Beck just scored. You can find out how much your car is worth quicker than a TV timeout. Go to Edmunds.com/appraisal. That's Edmunds, EDMUNDS.com. Edmunds, we drive it like it is. We will see you guys tomorrow because we've got a great matchup tomorrow. Rematch, Indiana, Oregon. Who's made some strides? Who's changed? Who's going to be playing for the ship? Hotty toddy, great season. Do not hang your heads. That was incredible. What you just did without your coach was incredible. What your quarterback just did was incredible. And, I mean, you had a chance. You threw it to the end zone, almost had a catch, literally in the game. Pete Golding's first coaching opportunity. But the U takes care of business, goes to the championships. See y'all tomorrow night. Peace.